When thinking of Hollywood stars, people often picture glamour, luxury, and timeless beauty. But no matter how powerful or wealthy they may be, time is unforgiving to anyone, especially those who have made enemies and sabotaged relationships throughout their careers. Today, we will take a look back at 15 celebrities who were once the center of the spotlight, but now surprise the public with their worn-out appearances, not only in their looks, but also in the collapse of their reputations. And trust me, position number 7 will leave you wide-eyed in amazement. This is the kind of transformation that makes you wonder, does fame truly last forever? You probably clicked on this video because, like me, you've been curious. What happens when the spotlight fades? How do once legendary figures end up falling from grace? I assure you what you're about to see goes far beyond failed plastic surgeries or the typical aging process. We're talking about a complete decline, from physical to moral, to the point where it could shock even the most dedicated Hollywood followers. Some of them were once hailed as beauty icons. Others were respected, even idolized. But all of them have become stark reminders of the fragility of fame. And as we go through each one, pay attention to how their appearance seems to increasingly reflect the true nature of who they are inside. The deeper we go, the more chilling the stories behind their transformations become. I've spent months researching, uncovering details that mainstream media has often overlooked. Have you ever felt shocked seeing how a once iconic star looks today? If yes, comment 1. If not really surprised, drop a 0 below. Every face in this video carries a story, a warning about the fleeting nature of fame. Enjoy the video, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to support the channel. Courtney Love, the rebellious icon of 90s grunge music, has paid a steep price for her decades-long reckless lifestyle. As the lead singer of Hole and the wife of Kurt Cobain, Love was once the epitome of raw, fierce beauty that defied conventional standards. However, substance abuse and a series of erratic behaviors have devastated both her appearance and career. Now, at 60, Love's face shows clear signs of harsh aging, partly due to her tumultuous life and partly from cosmetic surgeries in an attempt to reverse time. Her fame has also dwindled, not only due to the decline of her career, but also because of fractured personal relationships. Her public feud with daughter Frances Bean Cobain only highlighted the image of a mother spiraling out of control. Although there are occasional moments of clarity and brief comebacks, the overall trajectory has been downward. What makes Courtney Love's transformation so haunting is how it starkly contrasts with the vibrant, carefree image she once embodied. Now she stands as a living testament to the destruction of youthful recklessness and the harsh reality of the spotlight. With a promising career from a young age, Lindsay Lohan stands as a prime example of the rapid decline that fame and youth can bring when left unchecked. Her struggles with drunk driving, failed drug tests, and multiple stints in jail under the unforgiving gaze of the media steadily chipped away at her public image. Her physical transformation was equally striking and visible, with a hollowed-out face and clear signs of substance abuse. By the age of 20, Lohan looked far older than her actual years. Her cosmetic efforts to try and halt the damage only added to the strangeness of her appearance, as dry skin and early signs of aging could not be concealed. Her career, once full of potential, descended into a series of failed projects and missed opportunities. Although Lohan has made efforts to recover both her image and health in recent years, the scars from years of self-destructive behavior remain evident. Now, at 38, she looks much older than her peers in their 50s. Her story serves as a cautionary tale about how quickly youth can be wasted under the pressure of early fame. The Queen of Pop's battle with time is no longer a secret, but what has unfolded in recent years makes it hard not to feel a sense of sorrow. Madonna, who once redefined the image of women in music with her rebellion and continuous reinvention, is now causing concern with her controversial choices to alter her appearance. At 65, instead of embracing the aging process naturally like many of her peers, Madonna has chosen to go against the grain, undergoing heavy cosmetic procedures that have left her nearly unrecognizable. Madonna's once sharp and distinctive face has now become stiff, emotionless, an image alien to those who admired her during her peak years. But the decline is not just about her skin or features. Her behavior in recent years has also become erratic and uncontrollable. The obsessive drive to maintain a youthful appearance has led her to try too hard to fit in with younger dancers, resulting in awkward and unnatural performances. Even her once powerful presence on social media, which she used as a tool to connect, has now turned into a series of strange, filtered videos and baffling actions that have left even her longtime fans shaking their heads. It's truly a shame. Madonna, who once had the ability to redefine the beauty of aging and create space for female artists, has now become a testament to the fear of growing old. Her defiance of time, instead of embodying strength, highlights an anxious resistance to reality. Rather than becoming an inspiration for aging with grace and style, Madonna has become a cautionary tale. When a star cannot accept the natural course of time, not only does their appearance fade, but their aura, career, and influence can also diminish. Few could have imagined the dramatic downfall of Steven Seagal. Once a symbol of action films in the late 80s and early 90s, Seagal became famous for movies like Under Siege and Hard to Kill, where he played silent, stoic warriors with superhuman martial arts skills and an invincible presence. With his neat ponytail, half-closed eyes, and lightning-fast Aikido moves, Seagal was a unique action figure, enough to make him one of the highest-paid stars of his time. But looking at him now, it's hard to believe this is the same person. His appearance and current status are so drastically different, it's almost shocking. Recent photos of him have become a topic of viral discussion on social media, where viewers can't hide their astonishment at how his once heroic image has now faded into a mere shadow. Seagal's physical decline is particularly jarring, considering his entire career was built around a strong and commanding physical image. The lean, muscular body he once had has now been replaced by a heavy, cumbersome frame, with reports estimating he has gained over 100 pounds since his peak. Worse still, he still clings to his old look with all black outfits and his glossy black ponytail, but instead of evoking memories of his former self, it now seems like a mismatched, forced disguise. At 72, Seagal not only looks older, but appears more exhausted compared to many of his peers from the same era. His puffy face, slow gait, and heavy expressions make it hard to believe his claims of still being skilled in martial arts. In recent years, video clips showing Seagal performing martial arts have become the subject of ridicule, with him mostly standing still while his opponents fall dramatically as if struck by invisible blows. Once a powerful warrior on screen, Seagal now disappoints with performances so unrealistic that they are hard to believe. His demonstrations have been openly mocked by real martial artists for their blatant fakeness. Former colleagues haven't hesitated to speak out about his arrogant behavior during his peak, calling out the inflated persona he maintained. John Leguizamo famously recalled being shoved against a wall by Seagal while filming Executive Decision, and actress Erika Eleniak from Under Siege described him as distant and intimidating. Such accounts have become more common as Seagal's once glowing star has dimmed, giving crew members more freedom to share their negative experiences. However, Seagal's troubles go beyond a decline in fame. He has also faced numerous serious allegations of inappropriate sexual behavior spanning several decades. Many actresses, including Jenny McCarthy and Portia de Rossi, who worked with him, have publicly accused him of inappropriate conduct during auditions. By 2018, 2 other women officially filed police reports accusing Seagal of sexual assault, adding to a growing list of allegations that had started in the early 1990s. His film career quickly spiraled downward, with direct-to-video movies like Contract to Kill, End of a Gun, and Against the Dark, titles that seemed to echo his diminishing relevance. These films often saw him barely moving, mostly sitting and relying heavily on stunt doubles for action scenes. This was a far cry from the image of the action star who had once been known for performing his own dangerous stunts. However, what's even more surprising is Seagal's open support for authoritarian regimes. His close relationship with Vladimir Putin helped him obtain Russian citizenship in 2016, and since then, he has become a vocal advocate for Kremlin policies. He appeared on Russian state television to justify the invasion of Ukraine and was filmed attending government-backed events in Moscow. In 2018, Seagal was even appointed by Russia as a special envoy to improve relations with the United States, a role that seemed deeply ironic given his increasingly negative image back home. The former action star has now become a familiar face in direct-to-video films, living part-time in Russia, appearing on propaganda programs, and facing investigations back in the U.S. Seagal is not only aging, but he is also becoming a pale shadow of his former self. His noticeable decline in public image seems to perfectly reflect the darker aspects of his character that have slowly unraveled over time. What makes Seagal's story particularly noteworthy in this list is his current appearance, a figure now seen as a symbol of artifice, something that many in the industry had long silently criticized. Although not a true Hollywood figure, the dramatic downfall of Rudy Giuliani from being the mayor of America to a disheveled promoter of conspiracy theories certainly deserves a spot on our list. Once praised for his courageous leadership following the events of 9/11, in recent years, Giuliani has become a symbol of decay, both physically and in terms of his reputation. Time has been unkind, but it's Rudy Giuliani's own personal choices that have led him down this path of decline. Under the pressure of numerous legal troubles, failed political campaigns, and controversial public appearances, Giuliani appears to have aged decades in a short span of time. At 81, he now has a frail, pale appearance, an image constantly under media scrutiny, making him a living example of how quickly fame and reputation can fade. In this list, few transformations are as tragic as Mickey Rourke's. In the 1980s, Rourke was the epitome of a silver screen heartthrob, with his charismatic, brooding looks in films like 912 Weeks. Handsome and talented, he was expected to become one of the biggest stars of his generation. However, his decision to leave the spotlight of Hollywood in the early 90s to pursue a passion for boxing marked the beginning of a string of misfortunes. The boxing matches left him with numerous facial injuries, leading him to undergo reconstructive surgeries. When Rourke returned to the film industry, his appearance had changed so drastically that he was almost unrecognizable. This was followed by a series of botched plastic surgeries, causing his appearance to stray further and further from the image that once made him a star. Each procedure only deepened the damage. Now, at the age of 72, Rourke continues to undergo cosmetic treatments. But the results have only made him appear more artificial and alienated from his audience. His recent appearances show a man who refuses to accept aging, but has ultimately lost the battle in a bitter way. In the 1980s and 1990s, Val Kilmer was the epitome of the ideal Hollywood star, known for his classic good looks and impressive acting talent in films like Top Gun, The Doors, and Batman Forever. With his chiseled face, deep blue eyes, and calm demeanor, Kilmer was one of the ultimate symbols of masculinity in cinema, talented, handsome, and irresistibly charismatic. His career peak came when he was cast as Batman, one of the most coveted and prestigious roles in Hollywood at the time. Kilmer's selection for this role seemed to be the ultimate acknowledgement that he had reached the pinnacle of his career. However, within just a few years, Kilmer's career began to rapidly decline. Even before health issues took a toll on him, Kilmer's reputation had already been affected by a growing negative attitude from directors and co-stars. Rumors about his arrogant, combative behavior and difficulty collaborating with others spread widely. On the set of The Island of Dr. Moreau, Kilmer was accused of refusing to leave his trailer for days, causing significant delays and losses to the production. His co-star in Batman Forever, Tommy Lee Jones, even told him, "I can't tolerate your antics." Kilmer's life and career continued to spiral downward until cancer took away his health. On April 1, 2025, at the age of 65, Kilmer passed away after a long battle with the cruel disease, leaving him looking much older than his actual age. The contrast between the vibrant and charismatic Val Kilmer in Top Gun and the man in his later years was stark and heartbreaking. However, what stands out is that despite facing enormous health challenges, Kilmer continued to push forward creatively, pursuing artistic projects until the end. This set him apart from many others on the list, as his perseverance and dignity created an emotional depth that few stars can claim in the final stages of their lives. Lindsay Lohan's story is indeed tragic, but it also serves as a testament to resilience. On the other hand, her tale is another example of a very public and dramatic downfall. In the early 2000s, Lohan was a beloved child star, expected to have a long, successful career. With standout roles in films like Mean Girls and Freaky Friday, her impressive comedic timing and endearing appearance made her the quintessential Hollywood darling. Everyone believed she would have a prosperous career ahead. However, her personal troubles and health issues soon turned her into one of Hollywood's most regrettable self-destructive cases. Brigitte Bardot's fall from grace is one of the most iconic and heartbreaking declines in celebrity history. Once hailed as the most beautiful woman in the world, the embodiment of sensuality in the 1950s and 1960s, Bardot captivated the world with her wild allure and carefree attitude. Her influence on cinema, fashion, and the image of women is undeniable. However, the Brigitte Bardot of today, at the age of 89, has taken a path that has shocked many. After retiring from acting in 1973, she withdrew from the limelight to live in seclusion in Saint-Tropez, dedicating herself to animal rights activism. Yet her increasingly extremist views, particularly her anti-immigration and anti-Islam statements, have led to multiple convictions for inciting hatred, tarnishing the image of a once-loved icon. In terms of appearance, Bardot rejected all forms of cosmetic surgery, choosing to age naturally in the wilds of nature. However, her aged, weathered face clearly bears the marks of bitterness that have accumulated over the years. It is not the graceful aging one might have expected, but rather a look that reflects anger and inner isolation. The contrast between the woman who once dazzled in "and God created woman" and the solitary, resentful figure she is today is shocking. And beyond her appearance, it is the degeneration of her ideas that has forever tarnished Bardot's cultural legacy. The profound transformation in O.J. Simpson's image, from a sports icon to a socially ostracized figure, serves as a poignant reminder of how fame can change and collapse under the weight of scandal and personal behavior. His story is a warning about the brutal consequences of failing to control one's actions and decisions in personal life, as well as the immense power of public opinion and the media. The stories of celebrities like O.J. Simpson, Mel Gibson, and others you mentioned truly reflect a unique pattern of downfall that Hollywood and pop culture can create. These stars, once paragons of success and talent, now stand as cautionary examples of the price of fame. Their changes in appearance, attitude, and behavior are not merely the natural decline of age, but also a reflection of the clash between public persona and unresolved personal issues. What is particularly striking in their stories is how society, through the images built around them, played a significant role in both their rise and their downfall. These stars, once respected, became condemned figures, their public personas completely reversed. This dramatic shift makes their stories even more tragic and filled with bitterness. There is also a common thread in their journeys: the process of denial and attempting to salvage their images. They tried to return to the youth, fame, and allure they once had, but these efforts often went too far, becoming extreme measures that only deepened their downfall. The stubbornness of Mel Gibson or the erratic behavior of O.J. Simpson serve as proof that sometimes people cannot bear the pressure of fame and the irreversible mistakes they have made. Moreover, these stories raise a deeper issue about celebrity culture and how society treats its idols. Excessive admiration, irrational worship, and detachment from the consequences of ordinary life create a bubble in which celebrities are shielded from the real-world impacts of their actions. When that bubble bursts, the consequences become inevitable. The tales of these celebrities' downfalls serve as a reminder of the dark side of fame and the isolation it brings. Hollywood, once a pedestal for iconic stars, becomes a cradle of denial and unrelenting reckoning. What's troubling is that this cycle persists, endlessly repeating, with new celebrities following the same patterns. One can only wonder, which of today's A-list stars will manage to avoid a similar fate 2 decades from now? The stories you've shared truly reflect a profound truth about the world of Hollywood, where fame can be fleeting and ephemeral. Stars, no matter how talented or charismatic, are ultimately human, with flaws, poor decisions, and the consequences of their choices. Fame can be a double-edged sword, bringing admiration, but also leading to loneliness, alienation, and collapse. The dramatic fall from top-tier stardom to Hollywood tragedy forces us to reflect not only on the individuals themselves, but also on how we perceive and idolize celebrities. There's a part of us that revels in these downfalls, yet it also prompts us to question the true value of fame and whether it's possible to maintain integrity and morality in a world obsessed with image and perfection. The most thought-provoking aspect is whether these stars truly acknowledge their mistakes. In many cases, instead of facing reality, they choose to blame those around them or avoid self-reflection altogether. This is not just a Hollywood phenomenon, but a lesson for all of us, taking responsibility for our decisions and seeking change before it's too late. The stories of these fallen icons carry a powerful message. The consequences of compromising morality and ignoring human nature don't just impact celebrities, but also us, their admirers and observers. We must recognize that beneath the glossy veneer are real people with problems, conflicts, and choices that aren't always wise. That final question you asked, "What will your legacy be?" is truly a profound one. Unlike celebrities, most of us live our lives outside the public eye, but that doesn't mean we don't have an impact. Every action, word, and decision we make can shape our legacy in the eyes of those around us. Even if we're never featured on a magazine cover, we can still build a beautiful and lasting legacy through the relationships we nurture, the actions we take, and the values we uphold. This conversation isn't just about uncovering the dark side of Hollywood. It's also a chance for each of us to reflect on our own lives, so we don't fall into the trap of vanity and illusion. Have you ever thought about the legacy you'll leave behind? If you have, comment 1. If not, drop a 0 below. We may not be famous, but every small action we take can leave a big impact on the people around us. Join me in exploring the true meaning of personal legacy in this video. And don't forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button to support the channel. Similarly, Nick Nolte, a prominent star in the 1970s and 1980s, also experienced a significant downfall. At the time, Nolte was considered a model of masculinity, strength, and charm, starring in hit films like 48 Hours and The Prince of Tides. He was even named People magazine's Sexiest Man Alive in 1992. However, behind that strong exterior was a prolonged battle with addiction, particularly to GHB and alcohol, which caused him to age rapidly and face serious health issues. Currently, at the age of 83, Nolte no longer retains the robust appearance he once had. His sharp jawline has softened. The muscular physique he was known for has given way to a frail body, and his signature golden hair has turned white and wild. Although he continues to act, the contrast between the iconic film star of his youth and the elderly, weary man he is today is undeniable. Nolte's story serves as a stark reminder of the devastating impact of substance abuse and how it can accelerate the natural aging process. Similarly, the career of Terrence Howard, one of Hollywood's promising stars in the 2000s, has experienced a sharp decline. Howard was once a highly promising talent, earning an Oscar nomination for his performance in Hustle and Flow and being cast as James Rhodes in the first Iron Man film. paving the way for a long career in the Marvel Universe. However, Howard's career slowly declined, not only due to personal issues, but also because of strange career choices and controversies surrounding him. From a rising star, Howard gradually became a name that fewer and fewer people in the film industry remember. All three of these stories reflect an undeniable truth in the Hollywood industry. Fame and glory can be a double-edged sword. If not managed and maintained carefully, they can quickly lead to self-destruction. These stars, from Lindsay Lohan to Nick Nolte and Terrence Howard, are examples of paths that no one wants to take, but sometimes become an inevitable reality for those who achieve fame too early. They are all quintessential examples of the decline in both the careers and lives of Hollywood stars, but their downfalls show significant differences. The aging of Terrence Howard, although partly influenced by stress and changes in his personal life, is primarily attributed to his odd behavior and controversial statements. Howard began his career with great promise, known as one of Hollywood's rising stars. However, controversies over his salary during the filming of Iron Man and his strange personal theories have tarnished his public image. His personal life, with multiple divorces and accusations of domestic violence, further damaged his reputation. Howard's bizarre statements, such as his once claiming that 1 equals 2, not only raised doubts about his stability, but also made him an unpredictable figure, causing major film studios to shy away from working with him. While his role in Empire briefly revived his career, his increasingly erratic and eccentric behavior led Hollywood to gradually turn its back on him. The stark contrast between the talented and charming actor of the past and the lonely man making strange remarks today serves as a clear reminder of how a career can decline when one's personality and behavior are left unchecked. Meanwhile, Gary Busey's story is even more tragic. In the 1970s and 1980s, Gary Busey was a promising actor, celebrated for his role as Buddy Holly in the Buddy Holly Story, which even earned him an Oscar nomination. However, a catastrophic motorcycle accident in 1988 completely altered the course of his life. The accident not only caused severe head injuries requiring brain surgery, but also led to profound changes in his personality and cognitive functions. After the crash, Busey became notorious for erratic behavior, rambling interviews, and unpredictable outbursts. His once handsome features gradually became exaggerated and distorted, partly due to the accident's impact and partly due to unsuccessful cosmetic procedures. Most notably, his teeth grew unusually large and protruding, making him a target of public ridicule. At the age of 80, Busey has embraced his eccentric image, appearing on reality TV shows like Celebrity Apprentice and Celebrity Big Brother. However, it is undeniable that his decline, both physically and professionally, is deeply saddening. From a promising theatrical artist to a reality TV personality, Busey has become a caricature in the eyes of many, and this transformation reflects not just physical changes, but also the collapse of his personal life and career. The stories of Terrence Howard and Gary Busey serve as harsh lessons on the brutality of Hollywood and the devastating consequences of failing to control one's behavior at the height of fame. The legendary leader of Guns N' Roses, Axl Rose, is a prime example of a dramatic transformation in the rock world. In the late 1980s, Rose embodied the true spirit of rock, a lean, energetic body, an extraordinary voice, and a stage presence that burned with passion. He was a living flame on stage, combining rebellious style with a razor-sharp vocal delivery. However, time and his wild lifestyle have not spared him. His once vibrant red hair is now thinning, and his face, swollen and puffy, makes him appear much older than his actual age. Despite still performing, Axl Rose's current image is a glaring contrast to his glorious past, leaving fans nostalgic for an era of rock and roll that has long passed. The decline in Rose's vocal abilities is a deep sorrow for rock music lovers. His voice, once his ultimate weapon, could shift from a gravelly growl to piercing high notes like a banshee's wail, spanning 5 octaves, but now it is no longer the same. Footage from recent performances shows Rose struggling to keep pace, often relying on backup vocals to hit the high notes in legendary hits like Welcome to the Jungle or Sweet Child of Mine. Rose's once infamous reputation for erratic behavior and extreme perfectionism has now morphed into a troubling delusion. Former bandmates have described his behavior in the 90s as increasingly unpredictable and suffocating, making it difficult to work with him. The man who once made audiences wait for hours or even canceled shows at the last minute is now remembered not for his talent, but for his instability. What makes Rose's case particularly heartbreaking is that, at times, he seems aware of his decline. After one heavily criticized performance, Rose tweeted, "I know I'm not the singer I once was." This rare moment of vulnerability stands in stark contrast to the once unshakable confidence he used to embody. Comparing the images from Axl Rose's prime, when he was a whirlwind that dominated the stage with an irresistible presence, to his current self, an artist who moves slowly and carefully, step by step is a jarring shock to fans. His voice, once one of the greatest instruments in rock music, has now become a mere shadow of its former self, forcing listeners to confront the reality that their idol cannot escape the ravages of time. Unlike many seasoned rockers who have learned to adapt to their new limits, Rose seems to be still fighting a battle he lost long ago. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so we can keep revisiting the dazzling moments of Hollywood stars and the sometimes bittersweet stories of the rock music world. It is one of the most tragic and devastating downfalls in the history of not only Hollywood, but also sports and pop culture. Simpson, who was once a symbol of success and perfection, underwent an unimaginable transformation from an outstanding athlete and a famous sports star to one of the most controversial figures in American history. In the 1970s, O.J. Simpson was an NFL legend, a record-breaking running back who became the ideal model of success in sports. With his bright smile and charismatic personality, he was not only famous in sports, but also became a commercial star, particularly with Hertz commercials where he ran through airports. His dynamic, strong image was admired and beloved by everyone. But all of that changed after the tragic events of the 1990s. The trial for the murder of his wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, Ronald Goldman, shocked the world and transformed O.J. Simpson from a sports hero into an accused criminal. Although he was acquitted in the criminal trial, the civil verdict clearly pointed to his responsibility for the deaths of Nicole and Ronald. The public no longer viewed him as a sports icon, but instead as a controversial figure, haunted by guilt and scandal. Beyond his legal troubles, Simpson's physical transformation was a stark sign of his downfall. From a strong, handsome, and charismatic man, he became overweight, rapidly aging, and struggled with movement. Throughout his time in prison, Photos of Simpson behind bars revealed a man showing clear signs of surrender, a sagging face, a bloated waistline, and a vacant expression. These images highlighted not only his physical aging, but also the toll it had taken on his mental and emotional state. When Simpson was released in 2017 after serving 9 years for armed robbery and kidnapping, he was no longer the strong, dynamic O.J. Simpson of the past. The stark change in his appearance made it hard for many to recognize him. Later videos and photos depicted a man struggling with physical decline, walking with difficulty, and showing a swollen face, bearing clear signs of aging and damage. However, O.J. Simpson's dramatic aging wasn't limited to just his physical appearance. His public image was completely destroyed after the 1994-1995 trial. This trial not only changed Simpson's life, but also marked the collapse of his image as a sports hero, transforming him into a controversial and tragic figure. Watched by around 150 million people, the trial eroded every achievement Simpson had previously gained. Even though he was acquitted in the criminal trial, the civil court's decision made it impossible for the public to forget his involvement in the deaths of Nicole Brown and Ronald Goldman. Chevy Chase was once one of the brightest comedic stars in the world. In the 1970s and 80s, he was a founding member of Saturday Night Live, and later became a movie star in hit films like Caddyshack, Fletch, and National Lampoon's Vacation. With his tall stature, handsome face, and exceptional comedic timing, Chase not only made audiences laugh, but he was also a rare example of masculinity in the comedy world at the time. His physical comedy style, deadpan delivery of jokes, and natural charisma quickly made him one of the highest-paid actors in Hollywood, commanding $7 million per film, an enormous sum at the time. But it was those comically staged pratfalls that not only became his trademark, but also foreshadowed the real fall in his career. Beneath the glamour, Chase was alienating people and making enemies. His departure from SNL after just one season, becoming the first member to leave, marked the beginning of a series of fractured relationships. The peak of this tension was his infamous fallout with Bill Murray when Chase returned to host the show. Murray is said to have called him a mediocre talent, a remark that haunted Chase for decades. Over time, his fame became less about his comedic skill and more associated with behavioral scandals. He was accused of making racist comments to Donald Glover on the set of Community. Creator Dan Harmon once shared, he said terrible, racist things as if testing how far he could go without being punished. The issue with Chase didn't stop there. His treatment of women was also condemned. Several female writers recounted humiliating exchanges, ranging from crude comments about their appearances to having their ideas dismissed outright. Despite numerous opportunities to revive his career, Chase seemed determined to sabotage himself at every turn. His brief appearance on Community in the 2000s and 2010s was seen as a golden opportunity to reach a new generation of fans. However, his uncontrolled behavior made him difficult to work with, alienating not only his co-stars, but also the production team. Once again, he continued to burn the last remaining bridges in his dying career. Those who worked with Chase describe him as a lonely man, unable to explain why no one calls anymore, why old friends no longer keep in touch. And then, the physical transformation. A tired face, a heavy body, distant eyes like a perfect reflection of a life filled with isolation, broken relationships, and lost opportunities. Chevy Chase once stood as one of America's brightest comedic icons. But today, he is a living testament to the truth that bitterness within can erode even the brightest of glories.